Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review. We're here tonight to talk about the penultimate episode of Star Trek Picard. I am joined, as usual, my Trekkies in arms. To my right is Zam. How are you this evening, sir?
Oh mate, I'm so fucking emotional right now. You have no idea. But I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. I had lots of nostalgia this week for sure. So I'm sure lots of people are up in their feels right now. Um,
Oh yeah.
Down below me, we've got Cousin Cheeto. How are you, sir?
Oh, here we go. The pan nostalgic episode of the final season of Star Trek Picard. I can't wait to talk about it. People are gonna hate me. Pow pow.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm going to try to keep my same usual professional detachment and give my opinions at the end, but it might seep through this week.
Oh
My
no, let it all
the
ride, man.
feeling,
Listen. I'll be the negative Nelly. Zam will be the positive, Polly, and then you can do whatever you want. You are the host of the year.
dude, you're not going to let it die, are you?
Not until Golden Glasses Awards 2023.
We've got to go ahead and set a time. That way we can start plugging it early.
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, no, the mage is probably going to rage tonight. Most of this plot development is just asinine. Um, Zam, what were your overall thoughts of the episode?
I cried like a fucking baby back bitch.
Oh,
I was so fucking look, I know what you guys are gonna be complaining about, and you have some valid criticisms here and there and pretty much everywhere. But my goodness, the feels. The fucking feels, they got me by my short and fucking curlies, man. And they squeezed those fucking things so fucking tight that my eyes fucking watered. I was very emotional. Tears of fucking joy pouring down my fucking face. I was like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Remember when Cartman had his own fucking theme park at the beginning of the episode of South Park, and he was just crying about how happy he was? That was me. Yeah, that was me as elements of this episode. And don't get me wrong, there are moments that need to be criticized. I understand that. I genuinely do. But my God, those member berries, man, they fucked me over big time. And I can't wait to talk about every elements, the good, the bad, and the fugly. Cheeto?
all I gotta say is I'm with Worf. Like, why would you go for the fat Galaxy class vessel with less like phaser banks and photon torpedoes when you could have the Enterprise E? Well, I know you couldn't have the Enterprise E, but you've got the freaking Defiant there. Like the Defiance flies like 12,000
Analog,
times.
baby. Analog for some reason.
No, I think technically the Defiant would still probably be analog compared to the time frames they're giving us. So, but didn't I called this? I called this weeks ago. Jack is
Go,
going to have something to do with Borg, and I know Zam, you did too. You called it too. You
I
said he pewed his
Yeah,
little Borg nanites right into Beverly,
yeah, yeah. I said that too. He shot his fucking load right in there, man.
I
and I
was
said the
hoping it
Borg,
was indeed it.
yeah, the Borg had to be involved or something. So
It just makes no sense after what they did last season. Like you would have thought that they would have tied up the Borg storyline with a nice little bow.
And here
You
and
know,
there's a stupid like, I'm going to bring it up early because I want to talk about it. Because does the season 3 people not watch season 2? We haven't seen the Borg in over a decade.
30 years, I think she said.
No, she said a decade, in
Yeah.
over a decade.
Okay.
No, I mean
Oh
it
yeah,
might have
sorry,
been 30
30.
years
Yeah.
because at the end
No,
of
no,
Voyager,
I might be getting certain things mistaken for one for the other actually. So you could be right.
but
But
yeah,
yeah,
she said
yeah.
over a decade. I watched it. I watched that part a second time to make sure I caught it, and I'm like, what? I'm like,
What
we
happened?
just literally at the end of the season last season we saw the Borg. Now maybe they mean the main Borg and not Girardi Borg, but I'm just saying, like, what? Bev's been smoking the
Have to,
ghosty
Now
tobacco a little bit too
yeah,
I
much.
I
yeah, how can you
I just
forget the Borgussy?
I need some elaboration here, so nobody in the future wanted to fly and took precautions. Explain yourself. I've seen the fly. I just want you to explain yourself. Shaw points out that Jurati Borg aren't the real Borg. Fair enough.
Okay, well then, that, as I said, that may be the only loophole they have here. But I'm like,
Yeah, but Shaw pointed that out. But this was what Beverly said. You know, it was like, anyways, fuck's sake. All right.
anyway, yeah. And honestly, as I've said before, and I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but this is my last point: is that I am not a TNG diehard. I like TNG, but it is nowhere near my favorite Trek. So if you want somebody who does not have the nostalgia glasses on, someone doesn't have the nostalgia glasses on for TNG, I'm your guy. Because honestly, the only person that ever gives me the feels in these episodes right now currently is Worf and Riker. Riker because he's Riker, and Worf because he was on DS9. And no Colin Meaney yet. I'm just fucking mad.
I sometimes think to myself, is there only one Trek that you fucking like? You know what I mean? Like, is it just DS9 and everything is like pushed to one
I
side?
love Enterprise too.
Oh no, wait till we get to the Enterprise part of this episode.
Oh god.
God, anyone who ever was like, Enterprise is not actual canon. It's actually like they're gonna jake it. They're like, it's not actual canon. It's a similar canon. Like, no, they freaking like read the script from that first episode of Broken Bow from the Enterprise episode 1 and 2.
With Zeus running around like a Klingon. Yes, I remember. Yeah,
Zeus.
Oh my god, Tiny Lister, the guy who plays Zeus in fucking No Holds Barred. He was the Klingon. Yeah, well, you have watched. You are an Enterprise fanboy, and he was the guy who was the gigantic Klingon who was running around.
I know the Klingon you're talking about. I didn't know the actor or what the reference to Zeus was. I'm a guess.
The late Tiny Lister, by the way.
Okay.
It was also the president of the United States of America in The Fifth Element.
Okay.
An excellent movie. One of the best cyberpunk films ever made. Cheeto eyes are red, Borg. Yeah.
My eyes are red?
Yeah.
Are they?
Too much weed.
Man, I got to before sitting down and watching this bullshit. So anyway, go ahead, Mage.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because I'm the one not wearing a red shirt. It's these two guys wearing the red shirts, man. I'm going to be the only...
I'm wearing 9 because episode 9, so I thought I'll wear the 9ers because it's episode 9. That's what
I was going to do that, but then I wore it last week, and also with all the Enterprise shout-outs this episode, I was like, nah, I'm sporting my boy Tuck.
All right.
You guys have more choices than I do. I changed it up. I've got my new pen on.
Nice. Man, hey, no, that's a great shirt, man. I love that shirt.
So we'll get right to the play-by-play then. I think I've said kind of my impression of it. There's a lot wrong with this one. We open with Jack and Deanna inside of Jack's mind in the hallway with the red doors and the vines. And Troy says that they look like neurons, and she reassures Jack and asks him what the vines are. He talks about the Crimson Arboretum, the song that's playing, how his mother always listened to it over and over. Deanna tries to get him to focus back on the vines, and they come onto the symbolism of them representing connection, which is something that Jack craves. And I'm just like, no.
Yep. No, that was the exact moment. That's the moment. I was like, God, I knew it. I knew it was going to be Borg.
I'm like,
you even mentioned the word resistance last week, by the way.
Yeah.
And that stood out. That word always stands out. So
if you say resistance in Star Trek at all, it always stands out. You're like, resistance. Oh, are you Borg? What? Oh.
It's futile.
It is futile.
So he hears the female voice again, telling him that they'll be together soon. Deanna opens the door, and it's a tease because they don't show us what's behind it right then. She freaks out, runs out of the room, goes to Bev and Jean-Luc.
By the way, I hate this. I thought this was the stupidest way to reveal it. Like, I hate it when they do that, when they have something happen and then they reveal what they actually saw a couple minutes later. Like, she should have opened the door and we should have seen the cube. like right
Yep.
then and there. It should not have been like open. Oh, all of a sudden the doors closed. Jack's confused. She runs to Jean-Luc. What is it? What is it? What did you see? And then like and then we get the reveal. It's like no, like that's manufactured tension turned to 11.
Yeah.
Yep, and it did not work. So yeah, we cut back to the opening of the board. She sees the Borg cube. Sam, how do you feel about them using the Borg for the villains?
I have to be. I was a little bit underwhelmed. Like the Borg themselves, they're not like unique. You know,
They've been done to death.
Yes.
they've been done to death, and it in a way, I almost wish this was answered. I wish this mystery was resolved. I'm going to start coughing soon. A little bit earlier, because to leave it like this is like, you know, this dun dun dun. It's the Borg. Like, it's always the fucking Borg. You know, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, who else is there? Like, if it would have been more, it would have been more special if it was the species 84712. What the fuck it's called? Yeah, the Borg's
No.
enemy in Voyager. What were
I
they
mean,
called?
it would have been more original, but I don't think that would have been. I don't think that would have been. I think that would have been just as bad. I don't.
No, but they are like very dangerous.
Yeah,
And
they are very dangerous. You are correct about that.
and we haven't seen them since Voyager, so that would have been a nice way to tie in DS9 Voyager with TNG, all in a nice little little trio thing going on here. So that would have been pretty cool.
Seska.
Hello, Chakotay.
We are looking for we are looking for that unique sort of villain, and because the Borg have been done to death, they just don't. I mean, I like what happened later on. I'll be honest with you, like the revelation of the Borg, not too great, but as we progressed, things got a bit more interesting, you know, regarding how they implemented the Borg into this storyline. So, yeah, what's this fucking cunt saying? Did anyone say assimilate this before blowing them away?
Like from First
But they would have
Contact and
adapted.
Worf.
They would have just adapted. Daniel Vance says Jack's room has a honeycomb plates over the lights and walls symbolizing the Borg. Jack even speaks to being a bee. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't. What were we talking about? Just the revelation, or did we?
Yeah, the revelation.
I mean, no, but you're right. The Borg have been done to death, and it's almost like the Mandalorian. I know, Mage, you haven't been watching the Mandalorian. I don't know. Have you or no?
I don't care if you spoil it. I'm not up.
I'm
to
just
date
well.
on
We
it,
just
but
they were just saying, and I was saying the exact same thing about it yesterday because I was in the chat, but it's too little, too late at this point. Like this revelation should have came much earlier in the season. I really feel like that we could have done a bit more. Now we have 2 episodes to finish off the Borg plot, and it's just like, why? Why do we get our main villain at the end of a season when we should have the main villain at the very least at the end of the first act? Like that's my thing.
If they had got the original crew back together, I mean, in like the time of 1 episode of getting the whole crew back together, they figure out the entire mystery. That mystery could have been revealed rather gradually over the course of about half the season. It would have been better pacing. It would have felt more organic. It wouldn't have been subjecting us to these massive exposition dumps.
You're missing nothing, Mage. But
okay. I'm like noting. What is he noting
regarding the man? Look, there's still a couple of things. First of all, there's still changelings within Starfleet that need to be taken care of, and the boss changeling, the one honey bun, when she cut her hand, and we revealed that guy who looks like he should be thrown on a barbecue.
I'm pretty sure that's the Borg. Like I'm pretty sure they're implying at this point that is the Borg. So I don't mind the changelings and the Borg working together.
Confirmed,
but
it has to.
I don't know, man.
Sorry.
better pacing could have led to us having more time with the main villain, them to have more time to resolve it instead of basically one episode to fix everything and have the denouement.
I know, and we've
It's
had the
it's
Borg
gonna
every season. They were involved in the first season, not the main villain, but they were pretty much the Queen was one of the main villains of the second season, and then the whole Jurati Borg thing. And I know not the real Borg, but whatever, it's still the Borg. They still got green laser pointers on their ships, and that counts. So I don't know, man.
every time you use the Borg, you inherently the good guys have to win, so the Borg have to lose. Every time you show them losing, it makes them seem less and less threatening of a villain. So at the point you've used them this much, there's just no tension when you throw the Borg into the mix.
And also in regards to, and I know, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to do the play-by-play, but in regards to larger stakes, so this is where the whole going into the 32nd century backfires on them in Discovery, because we know that Federation will make it out of this, because there is no speak of, well, okay, there could be a time where the Borg, like there was a Federation civil war between the Borg Federation and the Federation, like the oldies versus the youngians, because that's how this kind of works, is that the young ones can be controlled by the Borg, whereas the older ones, the vintage models, cannot. So this could open up to a whole new civil war plot, between the new Borg versus that. And as I said, I don't think that's going to happen. But we still know that the Federation is not going to be destroyed. Like there will be casualties, there will be stakes for right now, but we know that this is not the end of the Federation. That's why it's like, why are we putting the entire Federation on the line in this season when we know it's not going anywhere?
Look, I 100% agree with you, Gio. I really do. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, they're fucked. How do we fight? We were basically watching them come to the inevitable of them winning, and it's just how we see them do it, because they are going to get out of this. They are going to resolve this. That goes without saying. There will be collateral damage along the way for sure. Mm-hmm. We've already talking, regarding Shaw, pun intended. We've already seen it in this episode. So collateral damage is going to happen. We're just going to see how they do it. That's all. So you're absolutely right regarding the future, because obviously Starfleet's still around. So for me, the curiosity is what do they do in order to do it? Yeah.
Let me see who this Facebook user is. I'm sorry, I normally have Facebook up, and unfortunately it does not say who you are on Melon, unless you would give it permission to. But I'll figure this out while you guys continue. I need to shut up for a little bit. I need to let Mage do his job.
Nah, we're here to discuss it and debate it. We're not just here to listen to me yammer on. So when we cut back to the action after the credits, Jean-Luc is being haunted by the memory of being Locutus, and we get the voiceover of his introduction. And we get the reveal about the organic transmitter that grew inside Picard, and that it's been passed down to Jack through Picard via Locutus, because they rewrote his
John Connor.
Yeah, I was just gonna say John Connor. I just got to it.
Sorry, Colin. Sorry, Mage.
I'm making sure I'm not jumping ahead, but so Deanna begins to bring up protocols and says that as of now, Jack is dangerous. It's weird wording. Apparently, he's always been dangerous.
No, but in the sense that he's a danger to Starfleet. Until now, they didn't realize that he wasn't.
He's considered dangerous now.
Yeah, especially now that they know that he's a weapon. So yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah. Jean-Luc goes to a very distraught and angry Jack, and he explains the things as they understand it. And Jack asks the question, how much of me is me? That line of dialogue stood out to me.
Well, you know what pissed me off the most was like he wanted a direct answer, and John Luke was trying to give him long-winded. Like, tell me what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? And John Luke was trying to tell him, look, I was 35 years ago, I was Locutus of Borg.
Look, I
And
just
then,
wanted him to like start a fire, like, and just like, it was
yeah.
35 years ago that I was taken,
And then I
have
shagged
a
your
word,
mum.
and Liam Neeson did not call it in.
And then like I shagged your mum, but I had like nanoprobes in my load when it went inside your mum and it impregnated her.
I mean, technically not
So
nanoprobes. It was genetic material, but I mean,
yeah,
tomato. Okay.
yeah. I didn't know.
Rewriting his DNA is so stupid. I'm
See?
sorry, it's so stupid.
I've never seen you so broken over this in ages. It's fascinating.
You must miss some of the Dragon Ball content me and Cheeto do, because I've raged
Oh,
about Dragon Ball before.
I see.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
you
why
got to
I'm
watch
so
that
glad.
Dragon Ball stuff. You want to see
As much
Major
as I
Rage?
Well, I'm very happy that I moved. Well, I watched Dragon Ball as a kid, but it never stuck with me in my teens and my later years. So I'm very glad that I've moved on from it. But yeah, fair enough. I totally understand. You know, Majin Buu's the best. All right, let's keep going.
He is one of the best in my opinion. Anyway,
It's in here. I remember that. Eats them. It's here. I love that. It's here. They're here. Oh god, I remember that.
So, like you said, Picard explains being Locutus. He says that you don't understand what it's like to be controlled by the Borg. He proposes taking him to an academy on Vulcan that Jack says is more like a mental institution that he doesn't
Yep.
want to go. When he tries to go out the door, he's met by armed security.
so the equivalent of I actually thought of a hilarious thing is that the equivalent of this Vulcan institution is probably when politicians say they're going to pray the gay away. They're going to mind meld the Borg out of them. Like,
Yeah,
what?
send him to conversion therapy.
Yeah, like what?
I never really thought of it like that until you mentioned it. It makes total sense. But I did like what they did afterwards, you know, like with Picard, so with Jack using his telepathic powers to control the guards. Nice touch.
I'm just glad that they just so happen to have so many young, upstart, people on that ship, and everyone who's
25
They sent all the
25
off and kept
all the
all the
youngins were
youngins.
around.
25 is too young. It should have been like maybe under 35. You know what I mean? That would have been a better number to go for because that would not have included all the high-ranking members of the crew, which would have obviously been in their 40s and 50s and older. So, yeah. But it happened 35 years ago, so go 35. You know, it would have been better. Yeah.
That could have worked.
So one more thing. What's
I got it.
Got to say. Now, what if I told you Sydney's 26 was assimilated another way by Jack?
Now we're getting with the nanites and the
the
swimmers.
Nanites in his sperm.
Yeah, he got some nanites in their eye. All right. Yeah.
So
All
Bev tries to stop Jack, and he says he's going to the Queen for answers, but he thinks somehow that he'll be able to defeat them. On the shuttle, the Queen sends him the coordinates, and he heads off. Jean-Luc and Beverly watch him depart and blame themselves
Hello, John.
for all this. Hello, John. So Data comes in. Beverly says that she's going to leave, and there's got to be something she can do to help. Data comes in and says that he can't track the shuttle, that Jack must be jamming the transponder.
And can I just say, like how easy is it to turn a freaking transponder off? Like, transponders are supposed to not be able to be turned off, but like he's just like, hey, look, there's a button here, and the transponder's off. Like, why is it not a dial, like, or not a dial, but like a slide? Like,
what happened to the tractor beam?
Who knows, my dude? Who knows at this point? I mean,
right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Why do they ever let a shuttle launch out of the bay without clearing it for launch first? Why do they not have
Yeah, I
the
agree.
launch bay doors tied through the bridge?
I laughed when Beverly was yelling to Jack
Yes,
that he couldn't do that. Cheetah remarked last week
I
that was her only job this season.
I thought of that. I was thinking of that earlier. I'm like, what? Like, and then we barely see Bev the rest of the episode. I'm like, I love how they're like, oh, we're bringing back
You know what they
Bev
should
and
have done?
Deanna
They
and
should
giving
have
them
asked Riker
justice.
to throw another fucking asteroid at the goddamn shuttle. That would have worked. What?
So we have the scene with Data trying to comfort Picard, and he, offers to say something. Picard says it would be impossible to comfort him. Data manages to by just putting his android hand on his shoulder. Geordi calls Jean-Luc and tells them to come to sick bay. Protocols. Jack arrives at the coordinates, and then a massive Borg city cube complex thing pops
From
in out of
space clouds.
transwarp in the
Like
space
brown
clouds.
space
Yeah.
cloud, brown space clouds. Fair enough.
Did they say where he was? I didn't see where he was. Like
I didn't see any
was
indication.
somewhere in space, I guess. But I have no idea.
So now is where we get the big exposition, the big info dump. Geordi explains that the Borg rewrote Picard's DNA back when they assimilated him and made him Locutus, making him a biological receiver, and that's why he still had the voices even after they took away
They
his
didn't need to
mechanical
do
parts.
this. They didn't
No,
need
they
to do
didn't.
all of this.
But here,
They
honestly,
didn't.
here's the thing. I don't mind this because it does explain why most of his Borg components were removed, and he could still hear the Borg in First Contact. And I think could he hear the Borg in other episodes too, or was it? I can't remember.
He was able to hit the Borg in First Contact, but I'm just saying regarding like what he did when it came to the creation of Jack. It's just simply because he was Borg. He wasn't like this special Borg. He just happened to be Borg, and because he was only Borg for a short period of time, and they were able to remove components and make him human again. He still had elements of Borg in him, which is what created Jack.
Well, but
That would have been fine. That would have been fine.
No, I think the reason why they need Jack is because the current Picard does not have those genetic markers, obviously, because he's
that's because he's a robot. But he was a human being prior to all of that. The robot thing only happened during season 1.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, why did the Borg wait so long to do that? Like, they're like, well, we could go invade. We could get this plot rolling, or we could wait, and then eventually Picard dies, and they're like, well, shit. Now what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I still think, regardless of all of that, they didn't need to specialize him. Just being Borg was enough. Yeah, not this special Borg. But anyway, let's just get to some of the comments. That Data is more a son to Picard than Jack. I found Data's consolation of Picard very meaningful. Yeah, likewise. We'll get to that.
Agree.
Picard was a special Borg, Locutus. Yeah, I agree. He had a name which made him special, but I still, yeah, it's like it's assimilation, it's evolution of the Borg. Like if Locutus was the first Borg to be like this, then every other Borg after Locutus would be like that as well. Not Locutus solely. It makes no sense. That's not how the Borg operate. Chaotic Truth
Live says, Link, what are we talking? Where's Zelda?
We're about to say Zelda. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
So
welcome to the stream, Chaotic.
The changelings, when they stole the body from Daystrom, were able to extract the genetic code, and they revealed that Jack's a transmitter, and that's how he's manifesting these powers.
Which was revealed in the credits. I hate it when they do that too. I think it's stupid. Like, it's not revealed, but it's like it's something that is in the credits that now we're like, oh, that's from the credits. I hate those. It's so dumb.
Yeah, for real. almost as dumb as the biological transmitters and receivers. Almost as dumb as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which that's what Jack is, and the Borg and the changelings were in cahoots the whole time. So of course, you've got to go to the middle, the thick of all the danger, and they set course for the Sol system, despite Shaw pointing out what a dumb idea it is. So Frontier Day is finally here, and we get Admiral Shelby on the Enterprise F, and we find out that
God, that's so anticlimactic. You can't have
yeah,
an Enterprise F and just use it like that. For fuck's sake, it's the Enterprise. I
yeah,
know, because of what happened later on in this episode with the nostalgia, they didn't want it to overshadow what happened later on. But regardless, that's still an Enterprise of its own accord, and they should have. Oh God,
No, I know.
it's the
I
ugliest damn ship I've ever seen.
hey, I like the
Hey.
Odyssey class.
I wanted to see more of it just to give myself an impression.
No, I think we're going to see more of it next episode because there will be the Enterprise D versus the Enterprise F. No bones about it. Like there will be an Enterprise E versus F. It's they have to, in my opinion. Otherwise, they've certainly shit the bed with that. It is very nice that they have given us the fan, given the beta canon the satisfaction of making the Enterprise F very true to the very true to the Star Trek Online, or what they have going on. So that is beta canon. Now it's alpha canon technically that the Enterprise F is an Odyssey class in the way it looks.
I think the F came too early. Like the E never really had the chance to, like.
No, something happened to the E. That's what happened. They meant.
Oh yeah.
They made reference.
Yeah, right.
So that's why there's an F, is because the E
something happened to the D and it seemed all right. Anyway, nevertheless, let's just read some comments.
Jordy pieced that together, but we'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah. Geordie's fucking pet project. U.S. Harlan named for Harlan Ellison, who wrote TOST on the Edge of Tomorrow. I'm surprised the Pulaski isn't a science vessel. By the way, she needs to be in this.
Yeah, but
Pulaski.
nobody likes her. I agree with you, Sam, but nobody likes her, so they won't.
I don't know. You know what? The fact that nobody likes her because Beverly Crusher that's the sort of shit that pisses me off. It's the same reason why people got pissed off with fucking John Walker from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because they thought he was replacing Steve Rogers when we all knew it was always going to be Sam fucking Wilson. But nevertheless, stuff like that really annoys me.
I just didn't like Pulaski for the same reason I really don't like Shaw, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But and they shit the bed with him too. But I didn't like Pulaski for the same reason I didn't like Shaw. So.
Well, they
it's not because she's not Beverly Crusher.
Regarding this, John wrote, it seems the writers want us to forget Raffi and Seven's relationship.
They want us to forget all about him after this episode. I mean, fuck.
Well, I personally wish they made us forget about Raffi full stop, because she's such a fifth wheel.
Whatever. I want Raffi. I like Raffi.
But nevertheless, I mean, they teased their relationship at the end of season 2. And their relationship was no more by the beginning of
end of season 1, and then by season 2, it was like, well, they were together, but it's like it was fractured at that point anyway. So
yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Check out Picard's novel that takes place between season 2 and 3. It fills in the missing pieces of what happened at John. All right, let's keep going.
So we find out that Frontier Day is the 250th anniversary of the NX-01 launch.
Yeah!
Enterprise represent.
Although they did not say Captain Archer's name. Do you notice that? I mean, they've said him before. They've talked about him before in the past, but they didn't even mention him. I was kind of like, what the fuck? I'm like, come on, you gotta. Anyway, also I just want to point out that she says that would eventually become Starfleet, and
It was
actually,
already Starfleet.
Starfleet was already established by the time the
The
NX-01 rolled.
Federation would become a thing.
Yep. She
But-
meant to say the Federation. I guess that she just must not have proofread her speech. I guess I don't know.
Nobody fact checked it.
Yeah, right.
So we
Yeah.
cut to Jack beaming over to the Borg megacube. The Queen welcomes him home. We cut back to Shelby's transmission, and
That,
she
by the way, that
explains-
was the. I just want to say that was the most emptiest Borg cube. Not one
Yes.
fucking drone. Not one
Nowhere.
fucking drone on that.
Listen,
on that
that
cube
is
everywhere.
that is Queen Borg's resort. Nobody's there. She gets to be on her own. She gets to that's her resort. So it's in the Mar-a-Lago Nebula.
That's why it stinks.
Oh.
So we get Shelby explaining this fleet synchronization thing, the
Oh,
one
God.
that Geordi heavily opposed. And as soon as he said that, we knew it was going to be a plot point for the bad guys to utilize. Riker and Picard scoff because we, the audience, are supposed to dislike fleet synchronization.
Why?
Are we? I had no idea.
Why? Let's take it's kind of like the problem with the end of Lower Decks season 2 or 3, where they had the automated Texas class.
Yeah, that'd be season 3.
Okay. Why? I get it if you want to do patrols and stuff like that, have automated patrols, but what they were talking about doing deep space research and stuff with these automated ships, and I'm like, why? That's the point, is people, humans, or well, not just humans, the members of the Federation going out there into the unknown, as Elsa would say. Or is it Anna? I don't know. Anyway, fact check me.
Couple comments here. The Borg Queen was voiced by
Alice
Krieg. Queen Borg in First Contact Voyager, and there were other Borg seen in Alcos, not just walking around. She also voiced in Lower Decks as well. One of the names that the Borg Queen comes up with for Jack is Pure Del, which means son of God. Yeah, they like their Latin the same way fucking Klingons like their Shakespeare. Anyways, let's keep going.
So on the cube, Jack and the Borg Queen talk. She tells him the other, the choices for her names that he almost ended up with, like the one you just said, and Regenerus, which would mean regeneration, and
Dickus, yeah, and all that. Yeah.
History of the World Part 1 reference.
No, I'm thinking, was it Dickus? I'm thinking, the Life of Brian. Tell me you've seen that.
Oh, I'm getting my Monty Python wrong. I apologize.
Yeah,
take one of my nerd
no
cards.
problem.
You got to take.
It's all right. I would mention
cards.
that to Cheetah, but he'd be like, he'd be all going Tim Allen on me. So yeah, I'm glad you get it, Rage. Anyway,
just from the guy who had no idea who Bob Saget was. He knows Tim Allen, but he doesn't know Bob Saget.
When you say Saget, I'm thinking Tiger, uppercut. Okay, let's continue. Okay.
So we find out that Jack's Borg name will be Vox, or the Voice. So
he's gonna be called Fox.
What does the Vox say? Resistance is futile. Resistance is futile.
So he pulls out a phaser, which I don't know what he thought he was going to do with this little tiny phaser.
And I think it was on stun. It was lit up blue. So I'm like, it's on stun. What? I'm pretty sure it was blue because I saw it, and I'm like, why are you looking to stun people, dude? If you're gonna kill the Borg Queen, man, you vaporize that shit.
Yeah.
And then he realized that he was in the Matrix because all these fucking cords come out and they fucking plugged him back in.
Yep, they assimilate him.
Dude, he did not even flinch though.
No, he didn't even try.
I'm thinking to myself, do you have connection ports where they're fucking shoving these things in you?
That's what I'm saying. He didn't even flinch. He's in a freaking night. Yeah.
Yeah, well, killing yourself is not that straightforward. Why did this? Sometimes it's easier said than done.
He's overconfident, I think, is why. He thought that he could somehow outsmart the Borg Queen and get the information and get out safe somehow. So
Or he's
on
going to
the
pull a Admiral Janeway and just he's got something up his sleeve where the Borg's going to think they got him, and then he's going to turn it around on him and blow him up.
Yeah.
So we cut back to the Titan, where Data and Geordi have discovered the changelings put Data's or Picard's altered DNA, the Borg DNA, in the transporter memory, and they put in this concept of using common DNA sequences to all Federation members to speed up the transporter process or make it easier on the memory buffer or something like that. Just they needed to have this for the plot to work, and so they put that's why they've been infiltrating Starfleet, was to slip the DNA into the transporters.
And I mean, it's not
that was my stupid thing, by the way.
This
God,
is
that
so
was
stupid too.
Yeah,
this is where
I don't think it's that bad of an explainer, because when you think about the way transporter technology works, you decompile people at the molecular level and you put them back together.
Our building blocks are the DNA acids. So
yeah, so I mean, I really feel like, granted, I do think it's kind of dumb. Like, I agree with you, but it's not a bad way to infiltrate somewhere, like something. I just think that the end game is dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Like theoretically, the way the transporter works, if you use it like that, then they just have codes of DNA, and they could just make Picard's and make other people without fucking transporting them. Like
we got 2 Rikers. No, that's always been a question of mine, is could we transport, like, if someone has
are you the original one that walked onto the pad or not?
Oh yeah,
I mean, that one died. You're a different entity now.
If the transporter's got the codes of people's DNA, then they can theoretically recreate people without even having that person there in the first place. Like, it just seems so fucking stupid. This really did. But I understand they need to try and make the storyline work. And then everyone's under 25 who works for Starfleet. You're either pensioner or you're a fucking kid. There's no in between.
If you understand the reflavoring the chewed gum in Strange New Worlds, this isn't a jump at all.
Mate, I vaguely remember Strange New Worlds now. Chewing gum.
I get the logic they're trying to use. I just think it's a stupid cop-out to use. I think you could have come up with something better. I get it. I just think it's stupid.
It's a good way of using their own transporter technology against them, as well as making a whole generation of people that are scared of transporters.
Have a whole generation of bones.
Yeah.
No, someone like 7 and 9 could be re-assimilated. Even Picard, but they weren't. I mean, they're already halfway there, especially 7. I mean, her implants are still showing.
Well, that's because that's because she was Borg for so long.
Yeah, I get that.
Assimilated as a 4-year-old.
Yeah,
I get that. I'm just saying, like, she should have, she should have been part of that contingent of people who are under the influence, because she is still Borg.
Yeah, but she's not under the age of when the genetic markers were influenced, I think, right? Isn't that how?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, it's all fiction in the day, but I'm just saying, because she's been Borg for most of her life, or most of her young life, and her entire youth, actually.
Well, I think part of that is there, because remember, when they started sending the signal out, which Major will get to here in a minute, 7 was in distress,
in pain.
Yeah. So there was something going on there, but I mean, maybe
she was feeling it. Yeah,
she shouldn't be immune.
I mean, it's kind of like plugging the wrong, AV ports in. Like it's something's there, but it's not working right. I'm gonna plug into her AV ports. Is what I'm gonna do.
All right, continue, please.
Yeah, I just ruined the stream.
He's fucking tacky here. Yeah.
We have this gradual secret assimilation plot that's revealed, Picard tries to hail the entire fleet and give a warning, but the comms are shut down. We get the Borg signal, and everybody under 25 begins to assimilate into weird, but purely biological Borg.
And they weren't assimilating people. They were killing people. Like
Yeah,
they weren't even.
They
And I
were.
think Shelby's dead, right? Like
Yeah, Shelby got murked, hardcore.
Shelby.
Yeah,
Yep, the
Admiral
Admiral.
Shelby.
Her people.
Oh
Her own
yeah.
ensigns killed her.
I saw her. Yeah, how she got killed. Yeah, a couple of rounds in the chest.
Sydney and Alondra LaForge are among the ones who get converted. Fleet-wide, ensigns start killing the people over 25 that weren't assimilated. We have Seven, Shaw, Bev, Riker, and Jean-Luc trying to escape in a turbo lift. And the Excelsior captain signals, and he's managed to retake his bridge, but that puts a target on his back, and they use the remote control to put his ship out in front of the rest of the fleet, and they just
Tell my
obliterate
daughter
him.
Yeah, he went out like Chris Hemsworth. 2 more seconds, and Shelby's head would have exploded sitting in that chair.
I meant to say earlier that like I think Shelby commanding the Enterprise F is just a big fu to Riker and Picard and all that. Like after the whole best of both worlds thing, where she's like, hey, look who's in the Enterprise captain chair now.
She didn't get to enjoy it very long.
No, she didn't.
The Excelsior is blown up. While they're showing the display of all the ships in the fleet, you see near the top there was the USS Hikaru Sulu.
I did not see that. Good.
Yep, they named a ship after Sulu and gave it its full name too.
Good. They should.
I would have called it the Takai. That's what you need to do. You don't call it the fucking Sulu.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I think it's a good nod. I mean, there's USS Nog in Discovery. Yeah. So
okay, fair enough.
Also, when they were doing Frontier Day, did any of you guys notice the Defiant class vessels that were there? I noticed them.
There were a couple, yeah. So those in the turbo lift decide to go to the maintenance deck. Shaw has the idea that it'll be empty. They might find a maintenance shuttle. The fleet begins to signal to the Borg that all the ships have been controlled, and they make this weird formation thing. In the maintenance deck, they get attacked before Data can get the door open. We have a firefight, and while Shaw is covering for everybody else to go through the door once it gets open, he gets shot. Seven stays behind with him, sending the rest on, and Rafi shows up, but Shaw puts Seven in charge and actually calls her 7 of 9 before he passes away.
Bullshit, stupid. I knew they were going to do this.
Let's try to redeem him and make him likable at the end. No, kill him off.
I know. You know what I would have done? I would have made him a dick till the end. I would have been it would have been like he was like, "Oh, it's your ship now, Commander Hansen."
Like having a controller with his last breath.
I would have liked a moment where maybe Seven would have embraced the fact that she is human now, and goes, "You're right, sir. I am."
I know you're waiting for that moment, like that.
I really was hoping that would happen because, like I said, I'm going to go on about the dead naming again, but I've always thought that now she's human again. Why would she want to still call herself 7 of 9? Surely she would want to embrace her humanity in every way possible and call herself Annika Hansen. I can understand that at the beginning, maybe. Of Voyager when she's in it to call herself 7, but I would have thought by now with character development and so on that she would have called herself 7 of Annika Hansen, a bit like what's her face, Amy and Daisy in Shield. She was called Amy at first, and then she changed her name to Daisy.
Well, but the difference is that her name was not Amy. Her name was Daisy.
Oh, no, but she had 2 names. Daisy was her
Sky.
real name. Sky, that's it. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that, as I said, Daisy embraced her name, and it's not like she went through a huge transformation. Like that was her original name, and she's always been human or inhuman or whatever you want to call her. It's not like she went inhuman and then like I think it's totally different. I know we're not going to get into this whole debate again, but I think it's fine the way it is.
I'm not too bothered about it, but I think the change is I would have, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's read some let's say a couple of comments here.
Okay.
I wonder if there wasn't a typo with the captain of Excelsior, Ben Bassett versus Ben Oh, come on, come on, Daniel Vance. Bassett was a doctor that gave Nog his synthetic leg. Fair enough. Well, there's been two Williams in Star Trek, so I fully expected Seven to assimilate Shaw into her own collective. We've seen her do that before. I mean, what would that? I don't know. I don't know about that. That would have been the wrong move. You know.
I mean,
like say goodbye to your career, Seven. If that happened. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that fussed over Shaw. I never, as I said, he was a fine character while he was here, but I mean,
well, I'll tell you what bugged me was the fact that I was liking the idea that if he did survive this, then we would have possibly a spin-off show where we have a of the Titan where we have a captain who's reluctant to do anything. And I think that would have been a really good way to do a Star Trek show with a different type of captain. But now that won't materialize because he's dead.
Yeah, I know.
As soon as he started covering them that they were going to kill him off, yeah. I'm like, oh great, now Shaw's dead.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So
I'm going to cover you with my corpse. Yeah.
And I mean, it was very anticlimactic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was very
payoff.
Yeah, it was barely a payoff. As I said, I don't know. I think that something else should have happened. But and Daniel Vance did say this prior to us starting, but we forgot to mention at the beginning the Cisco Day 5/22/23 is officially announced by I can't ever pronounce his first name. Lofton.
It's the day before my birthday.
Expect new announcements at the event. Really? You think that they're on the Cisco Day? Dude, how many days does Star Trek need? We got First Contact Day. We got Star Trek Day. Now we're going to have the Cisco Day? Like, we're going to have Frontier Day too, apparently. Like, let's do it.
Cisco Day is the day before my birthday. That's so cool. All right.
So the fleet prepares to destroy the planetary defenses. And we have the everyone who escaped, our main crew, Rafi and Seven, go to the Fleet Museum, and then
was Rafi and Seven with them,
or did they stay behind?
I think they stayed.
They did. I'm wrong.
Stayed behind.
Yep. Yeah, I was at it.
They're going to Thelma and Louise.
No, I mean they had to have their TNG full reunion moment. You can't have anybody else. You can't have anybody else breaking in on that. You can't have a Voyager person on the D.
I'm fine with that. I'll be honest with you.
I'm fine with it too, but that's what they were going for. Like this is penultimate nostalgia.
No, but before that, I liked the way when they were figuring out their plan. I liked the way Seven said to Data, the robot's correct. I just started laughing so fucking much. Just that
was a very Seven comment in my opinion. Like
the robot is correct.
7 of 9 and Data are very similar characters, like on their perspective shows. And I kind of wanted to see more interaction between those two. And also, can I say, I'm not liking geriatric Data. I'm not. I really, really don't like this Data. I would much rather of them found a way to turn lore. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah,
this Data is
he's very human, but like he goes, but there are moments like where even though he's evolved, that he still doesn't know like the art of subtlety, and you see that in some of the stuff like when
I hope we die quickly.
Like, try and be more positive. He goes, and he. Yeah, I hope we die quickly.
No, that's not. That's
like
mate. Sarcasm. Like I thought that was more sarcasm than lack of subtlety.
No. You think so? You think? I mean, I know he's capable. I'm sure he'd be capable of doing that. But yeah, or maybe he's back. Okay.
Upon reflection, Dana Vance is probably right. I found the robot line out of character for 7. She'd never have called the Doctor a simple hologram. So, okay, fair point. Fair point from the Vance man.
But we get this full reveal of the
point, yeah.
rebuilt Enterprise D. You know, they pulled the saucer section off of Iridium 3. They go onto the bridge, and we have the slowly bringing up the lights, and it's super bright, fluorescently lit, and it's the old set. And they go to the bridge, and the nostalgic music swells, and they make jokes, and they
But
reveal that. Go ahead.
I was just thinking to myself, they still didn't put the lights on full
Yeah, they did.
blast because it still felt kind of dark for what the Enterprise D was.
No,
You
not
know,
by
it
the
didn't
end
feel
of it.
fully.
It took a
It
while
didn't
for the
feel
lights
fully
to come up all the
illuminated.
way, but once they were up, it was pretty bright.
It makes
Yeah,
the
I mean, compared to every other fucking bridge in Star Trek recently, but I still think I still thought it could have been brighter. You know, but anyway.
they reveal that this is the last functional ship that's not connected to the rest of the fleet. Riker and Troy tell, John Luke's like, I don't want to ask you to do this, and Riker says, we're your family. Troy says, your son and the LaForge daughters are our family, and we're gonna come help them.
Yeah, but
So
not Seven and Raffi. We don't give a fuck about them.
nope.
They didn't
No,
even they omitted
Didn't even
them.
mention them.
Yeah, they omitted those two. It's like and
The Enterprise D requires a minimum of 6 people to carry out operations and repairs through its capable of operating by itself. TNG, number, given automated procedures.
that's the name of the episode. 11000. Wait, 1100101.
The one with the binars
Yeah, the binars.
and Minuet.
Oh, Minuet. Wow. She should have been the main villain.
Indeed. But they set course for Earth at maximum warp, and we get the engage. And that's the end of the episode.
Yay, nostalgia.
I got a little hype, I'm not going to lie. The D's my favorite ship. I got a little hype.
See, D is not my favorite ship.
It's interesting to find that. I mean, everyone wants to know what happened with Worf and the E now. And he might have been captain of that ship, so that's why people are wondering.
I think they've outright said he was the captain of that ship at that point, right? Somebody said it, or maybe it was in a comic. I don't know, but
expect an all after credit scene next week, so stick around till after credit. But I did say that this whole reunion was missing one thing, and that was the Enterprise, and now they got that. So now it's full on. Now it's totally full on. And
listen, I'm with Worf. I'd want the E.
I wouldn't mind. Would it be D or E? I would have been cool with either. I would have been cool if they went back on the A. You know what I mean?
That would have been ballsy, but hilarious.
Yeah, they take an antique into battle.
Yeah,
I mean, they already are.
That.
Dude, that ship.
Sorry, but I'm just saying that you could still make the argument. I mean, obviously, Geordi rebuilt the D, but the argument was there that if they didn't do that, that it was destroyed in generations. So, they could have taken any of the previous Enterprises, or they could have taken E, and not mentioned the thing that Worf did and put that down to.
I just would have taken the. I just would have taken the Defiant. Defiant's a classy fighter.
So yeah, Daniel Vance says Brian is the one who figures out how to remove the genetic code from everyone, making him the most important. Is that what we saw in?
I mean, he's a geneticist on the side, right? Is that what we're saying now? I want
many talents.
Yeah,
he learned about genetic alteration from Julian. There.
I'm naming this episode the Nostalgic Generation.
This whole season was relying on that, dude. I mean, you were right. You're bang on when you called it season 8 of TNG, but that's what it is. Now they're back in the fucking in the fucking Enterprise D. It's definitely season 8 for sure, and it'll be interesting to see what roles they play. Will and Deanna will be sitting either side of Picard. Will be sitting in the middle. Geordie
Well,
will take
they
his own.
already did at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
They assumed the positions.
So where's Beverly?
Beverly, actually, I was going to bring up Beverly. Beverly's standing back by tactical, but not at tactical. And then I think she's the one who says all systems ready. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know what all systems are
You don't
ready?
have a console.
She doesn't have a console in front of her. Like, what? How do you say I'm not supposed to be on the bridge without saying I'm not supposed to be on the bridge? Right there.
They'll still.
I mean, she flew that bitch into a star.
Well, there are consoles behind there as well. I mean, she could just tap on that shit.
No.
A lot of extras
Worf
doing.
was at tactical, which is behind. But there's like the beam that goes down. There's no
behind Worf. There's consoles there, isn't there?
No, she was standing. She was standing.
No,
facing...
I'm just saying she could use one of those, and make herself useful. Being in Starfleet, you have like a couple. You have to have a couple of strings to your bow. You can't just be one thing. So I'm sure she's able to help when it comes to the vessel. So
I mean, she commanded the Enterprise for a short bit.
Yep. Repair stations require 2 people. Worf and she are the same consoles for a reason. There you go, Daniel Vance. He has the answers for everything. Lottery numbers, please, next Daniel Vance. I have to admit, like the nostalgia was the saving grace of this episode. It really was. Oh my god! And I'm reading comments of people fucking crying.
Oh god!
They're crying. They were crying over this. They were crying. You know who was crying? Vance Major. I read his comment on Facebook. He was crying. He watched it 3 times and he was crying. And I told him Vance, you know what, mate? I was crying too, mate. I was crying too. Let's bro hug. Let's bro hug over this. I was crying.
I'm so glad all you bitches are uniting under this bullshit.
Mate, I couldn't help but be emotional. I had such a large lump in my throat. I thought I was sucking dick. I mean, it was unbelievable, man. It was like this was amazing. This was
the large one that must have been mine.
It was getting me right in the fucking feels, and I was like, oh, stop doing this to me, man. I'm gonna start fucking, I'm gonna be going all Niagara Falls and shit. I just changed shirts. You know what I mean? Like, and next week as well, like when we see the Enterprise D and all of that, oh my god, like the fanboys are gonna be prematurely ejaculating all over the fucking place, man. We'll be swimming in the sea.
A Galaxy class ship, especially
has no chance against modern starships.
No, has no
Especially
chance
when they're all firing at the exact same time because of fleet synchronization. They would get blown into space dust instantly.
And here's the thing: like, it's a big ass ship, it's a big target, and it don't maneuver well. Like, if they would have just taken the saucer section, I might have been able to, or maybe even just the battle section.
Battle bridge, yeah.
Yeah, but like, no. Like, they're taking the fucking big ass 1,000+ crew Galaxy class starship, and it's such a big fucking target. Like, take the Defiant. That would have been your way to merge DS9. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been your way to been like seeing Captain Picard or Admiral Picard and everybody else on the bridge of the Defiant, and let Worf sit in that fucking seat. Let Worf sit on the bridge.
I was also thinking as well, like that planet the Enterprise D saucer section landed on was a planet that had not created warp technology yet, so they weren't really supposed to land on that planet. But regardless of them taking the saucer section off, which must have taken forever,
I mean, they
Like there
probably just
is
tractor
a
beamed it. It seemed like it was mostly intact. And plus, when you tractor beams, like if you tractor beam it the right way, it kind of encases it rather than like dragging it. It encases it and then lifts it. So like
there's
it's
gonna be
not.
there's gonna be lots of bits of scrap in the
Yeah,
trail that was
yeah.
created, and the people who live on that planet are going to see a giant skid mark, the size of a fucking country, um, amongst those trees. It's going to be it's going to be a phenomenon. It's going to be their version of a fucking crop circle, but
Hey,
it's yeah.
wouldn't be the
But
first time Star Trek captains have revealed their technology to indigenous species that are not warp capable.
It's
Looking
like
at
a
you.
rite of passage.
I'm looking at you, Kirk.
It's a rite of passage.
I'm just feeling to a degree that they should have left the Enterprise D in the. Even though I was happy to see it back, I was very happy to see it back. But also at the same time, it should have been what it should have been at the end of it. Generations, it was destroyed. The tail end was destroyed. The saucer section was ripped to pieces on the landing. It should have remained that way, and they should have got A, B, C, or E instead. I would have been fine with that.
I think they all should have taken the ship. I think they all should have somebody should have grabbed the Connie class A. I think somebody should have grabbed I think Worf should have grabbed the Defiant. I think they should have done like a lottery and been like, all right, who's got dibs on the Akaran over there? Bev's like, oh, that's me because it's not important, and neither am I in this season. Like
I wouldn't mind them like jumping into Voyager and taking the Delta Flyer. That would have been a good ship to take.
They should have brought Seven, and Seven could have piloted Voyager. Could you imagine like all those ships coming like Defiant, Voyager, the Enterprise E? Like, could you imagine that?
That would have been cool.
That would have been a mark out moment when you had those three ships. I would have marked out for that.
I mean, I was like, this is really cool when they showed me the Enterprise D, and I'm like, this almost makes me forgive it for the rest of the stupidity, but I just can't.
That, as I said, you're in a galaxy class that's like 40 years old at this point, maybe 40 plus years old. It's not been updated. Like, let's be real. Geordi
He restored it. He wanted to leave it OG.
Yeah, and he took pieces off of other like galaxy class starships that were retired. Like he said, the nacelles were from the Sutherland. I don't know if he said the battle section was from somewhere else. So like the saucer, yes, the saucer was the original, but it's like the battle section was.
Well, like Geordi's gonna when it comes to that ship being in use next week, Geordi goes, I've added a few little improvements of my own.
But why?
And then beep, and it cloaks.
No, because he got mad the other day. He's like, "Do you know how many treaties you've just violated?" By the way, when they go to Frontier Day, why didn't they cloak? Like, did anyone notice that? Like, when they warped into Sol System, why did they not cloak? They still had to cloak.
Mm-hmm. The writers forgot.
As I said, they still got lots of things to resolve. I hope next week's episode is a good hour long because I don't want them to rush when it comes to resolving the things they have to do. Like, if that person Honeybum was talking to is the Borg Queen, I need to make sure that that's been explained and established. With there's God knows how many changelings within Starfleet, they need to be ousted, as well as Jack needs to be rescued. And
and that's what we were saying is that they're gonna all these reveals should have happened in the mid-season, and we should have time to figure these things out, because honestly the changeling thing is way bigger than they're making it out to be. Like, we're almost supposed to forget that there are changelings all over the Federation, that are infiltrating. And I get it. If you stop the Borg, you cut the head off the Viper, but still, it's like there's still so much that like they've kind of dug themselves into like a 60-foot pit, and then they brought a 6-foot ladder to climb out with. Like, there's so much left to do, and they got one episode to do it. If they actually go and do like if they actually like leave some things hanging out there for like the legacy series or whatever's coming after Picard, like the spinoff of Picard. Okay, I can see like if they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna leave the changeling thing, like they leave hints saying that it's gonna be in Picard. Seven and the Titan are gonna be cleaning that up or doing something with that. Other things like that. But it's like there's just so much to wrap up, and honestly, I hope Jack dies. I'm done with the whole Jack thing. Kill Jack, kill the Borg.
No, you look. We already had David die for Kirk. We can't have another captain losing another admiral, losing their son. No. Jack's got to live. If anybody dies, possibly Beverly. I think that would be a better one to die. And then that means that Jack and Picard are almost kind of,
I feel like someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, my money was on Riker earlier, but now I'm not so sure.
He's been relegated to the background at this point, almost.
Yeah.
Did he even have a single really, not prophetic, but like standalone line in this entire episode? I really don't feel like I heard very much from him this episode. Maybe a line or two.
He had a couple of jokes and the statement that they were not going to abandon Picard, that he was their family.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think if Beverly died, that'll be good. That'll be when it came to one of the main characters dying. I mean, fucking Data can't die again. I think people are fed up of that.
No.
I mean, there'll be a hat trick of deaths.
A good tug at the heartstrings would be LaForge. Not that I want him to go, but I'm like, he's the one that kind of nobody's banking on dying, and it's like, but if he gave his life for his daughters,
that could be true. But considering everything's focused around Jack, my money's still on Beverly.
I think we're gonna get our Armageddon moment where he looks at Jack and LaForge looks at Jack and says, "Take care of my girl," and then Bruce Willis is calling.
He wants his plot back.
Yeah, but no, because honestly, Sydney and Jack, they've had their little moment here or there, but they have not expanded on that whatsoever. To tell you the truth, it's just been a little thing here and there. But
I underestimate what Star Trek can cram into one episode, especially at the season finale.
Yeah, but he's stuck on a fucking Borg cube. I mean, he needs to be rescued.
He's going to show back up for the last episode.
He's stuck on a Borg cube, and fucking Sydney's been assimilated. They got transwarp. They got transwarp. Like they can go.
They're there.
Yeah, like it literally takes them this long. Voyager got back to the Alpha Quadrant in the Sol system from like what was it, 35,000 light years away by the end, in literally a couple minutes. Was it? I don't remember how long they were in that transwarp conduit. A couple minutes, 15 minutes.
I don't know, but I'm banking on Beverly dying. I was Riker, not anymore. Now it's Beverly. What about any of you guys? Anyone going to die? You think?
I would not be surprised if it's Beverly, but I feel like LaForge might. The more I kind of work through this theory here, I don't know. Maybe LaForge.
What about you, Mage?
They already did a fake out for Worf, so I don't think it'll be Worf. I don't think it'll be Bev, because I think that would make the nerds too sad then angry afterwards. Like the Beverly fanboys would be furious.
I mean, she's had so much to do this season.
Are you saying that sarcastically?
Yes, absolutely. She just frets over her son is the only thing about her character this season.
She's been involved in this season from the very beginning, whilst the rest of the
done the least. Maria Sirtis is probably the only person who's done less.
But she's also got the connection to Jack, which makes her. They give that her connection being Jack's mum and knowing a lot about Jack, even though obviously because Jack's dad, but the show's already named after him, so I'm putting him out of the equation regarding who kicks it. I mean, it could be Picard, but that would, I don't know.
I mean, they've already done that.
If they've done that, you don't want to James T. Kirk him. I mean, you don't want him to follow the same sort of lineage as James T. Kirk. He needs to be different.
Or he just
You know what I
becomes
mean?
the new Borg king, and he just and they actually leave it open ended. But I don't think they do that either.
A Borg king, please. That's the worst. The whole point about the Queen is the beehive thing, which you mentioned, which somebody
I
mentioned.
know now they
earlier.
could be just as bad as the UK. I mean, the Borg are already racist. Let's be real. So I mean, come on, they could be the royal family.
Okay, this your dad jokes aside, let's have a quick read of
That's
the
not a
comments
dad.
here.
That's not a dad joke. That's a
I called it a
political
dad
joke.
joke because it was terrible. That's why I called it a dad joke.
Okay.
The extra parts came from the Sycamore. It was mentioned in
Syracuse.
Bram's. Oh, Syracuse.
Yes.
Is that how you say it? Sycamore. It's not,
No. You're saying it right. He misspelled it for right here. He said Syracuse. So.
Oh, Syracuse. Okay.
But
It
I
was
do remember
mentioned
that
in
actually. Now that he mentions it.
It's over a log and was built in the same time as the Enterprise D.
So
Okay.
pretty much they were building a bunch of Galaxy class vessels at the same time, and the Syracuse and the Enterprise were being built at the same time.
Yep, and they launched
fair.
the D first because it was the first one in flagship. Do we have the poll up?
Yep, poll's already up.
Poll's already up. You guys want to mark it and give any other final thoughts?
The feels, baby, the feels. Like it was just good to read from so many Star Trek fans who were crying their fucking eyes out today. They really were. Now, I have to admit, after talking and communicating with you guys and doing the breakdown, but you two are a couple of hard asses. I'm not as, you're not as. I'm way more easily emotional than you two motherfuckers. But you have actually put things in perspective, which is why, if you will let me mark it first,
Go for it.
like once again, the nostalgia elements of this, the member berries, the ending. Oh my god, it was phenomenal. It really was. It was.
Zam missed a carpet too.
I was overwhelmed with emotion. At the same time, I'm not gonna let that blind. It did blind my judgment, and I'm very happy that you guys have brought me back down to earth. 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a generous 6 out of 10. As I said, I don't like the fact they left Raffi in 7. I don't like the fact that, I mean, yeah, the Enterprise D stuff is fine. I don't like geriatric Data. I think he's annoying. Like he's off and he's annoying, and I don't like him. I wish it would have been Lore. It would have made more sense if it was Lore. Even when Data had his emotion chip going, he still did not. This does not feel like Data, and I don't have a hard on for Data. It feels off. Yeah, the Borg thing, duh. Like we kind of called that. Like we were always speculating a couple things, but the Borg was always the forefront one that we always talked about. And it's TNG season 8. And it's sad because the Borg have been overused in Picard and in Voyager. So it's just kind of like this episode was just kind of like, honestly, I got more out of seeing all those ships around the space dock and everything like that, and that was fantastic. Like that, that's my mark out moment is when I get to see all the starships flying around and stuff. But yeah, six out of very generous for me, 6 out of 10. If there weren't as many starships, I probably would give it a 5. Oh, and the Enterprise references, that was also a big one.
Between Enterprise references, seeing the D, hearing the music sings, ha 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 ha.
I'm here for it today.
Dude, I threw that one right over the plate. I don't know what I was expecting.
Threw right over the plate.
I'm also going to give it a generous 6, mostly for showing Enterprise some love and settling the issue of, is the NX-01 canon?
Well, I mean, we know the NX-01 is canon because we've seen it before in Picard and in other stuff, but like they literally kind of like they flat out, like it's not even like a guess anymore. Like it is the events of Enterprise happened, So
All right.
So-
Well, my eyelids are winning the battle again, and the last thing I need is to fall asleep on my chair like I did last week. So,
come on, we
Right,
need
but-
more memes.
No, we're
Oh,
gonna
man.
sign off so Zam can go to bed.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Sorry it went long. Want to thank everybody in the audience and chat for your patience with us rambling.
Coming Friday. Coming
Hold on.
Friday.
Let me show. Let me quickly let's see if I can do this. 1 second.
All right.
I need to post. Well, I want to quickly show Daniel Vance this. 1 second.
Well, go ahead. Start to take us out, Mage, and we'll.
So want to thank everybody for showing up. Please let us know if you watch this video later after the fact. Let us know in the comments if you agree with our points, disagree, are we way off the mark? If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing that. We do a wide variety of content here on NerdTube. Dragon Ball, Final Fantasy, sports entertainment, gangster shows. We do live chats, DC Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, just everything nerdy.
Including Star Trek and Star Wars.
I always leave those two out. They're just, I don't know why. I assume they're understood.
Yeah,
but they're
right.
not. But so consider giving us a subscribe. What do we have coming
All
down
right,
the pipe? We've got our chat tomorrow night, correct?
There we go.
It has become a meme.
I want that on my wall.
Save it. There you go.
Oh, I already got it. Ginger already sent it to me. I'm going to be using it in the future.
The funny thing is now I'm using it against Ginger now. Is he'll post something trying to be funny, and I'll post this. I'll put this on there. There you go. You trying to be funny? Yeah.
I can still hear it in my head. Dude, we're gonna do a GoFundMe, and it's just gonna be Zam sleeping on stream. Like, don't they do that on Twitch? Don't they have sleep streams? We're gonna do that with Zam. He's gonna have his sleep streams on Twitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Get more views than the gaming.
Right?
Well, whenever people post stuff now, I just post this as my response by saying, "Yeah, it's so crap. I'm falling asleep." So yeah,
it's gonna be on the thumbs for especially boring fan films.
Oh
yes, else we do here is fan film reactions.
Yeah.
So make sure you check us out. Come to the chat tomorrow night.
And by the way, we are going to. Daniel Vance mentioned Titans. We are on that. By the way, I have yet to watch it, but we are on that. We'll try and get a review this weekend at some point.
Eyes closed, ears open. Dude, dude, all of a sudden, man, I heard that buzzsaw going off, and I'm like, where is that coming from? And it's Zam.
The funny thing is, I've got these guys right in my ear holes. Look, I'm wearing these headphones. So I've got them right in my ear holes, but I still fell asleep, even when they've got them talking into my ears and stuff like that. So
that's because our soothing voices are just so calming.
Of course.
Okay, host of the year, take us away.
So you've been watching our Star Trek season 3, episode 9 of Picard review. Thank you so much for coming. Zam, thank you so much for being here with me. Cheeto, it's always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming. Live long and prosper.